Welcome to Miss V, the Storyteller podcast. This podcast is for anyone who has lost their voice and want to get it back. I lost my voice at a very young age, and it took me years of pain to get it back. On this podcast, I will bring you personal stories that will make you laugh, cry, think, heal, and in some cases, propel you into making new and better choices. At the end of each story, I always give you my thoughts and I ask you questions to make you think. Well, with that said, I am so excited to have my friend Katrina Miller on the show. Her and I, we go way back. We have been friends for years. And I wanted her to be on my show because she has supported me from the very beginning and she has some great perspectives. I want to talk to her. I want you all to hear what she has to say. And if I didn't say it, it's Dr. Katrina Miller. So Dr. Katrina Miller, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hi, Valeria. So
Hey.
excited to be here.
Yes.
As she mentioned, I am Dr. Katrina Miller. I am a speech language pathologist by profession, which is a fancy way of saying I help people talk. I particularly like to mention that because it's a very small percentage of minorities that are speech language pathologists. We're about 4% of the industry. And I also am a professor. So I have been blessed to now I teach and mentor young professionals and young persons who are coming or becoming speech language pathologists. And I'm excited about being able to do that.
Yes. And we are so proud of her. Yes. We support each other. And so on my podcast, she's listened to every single story. And that tells you what a good friend she is because she's listened to all my stories. But which one resonated with you the most? The one that you want to talk to my audience about today? Which one was that?
Um, I enjoyed quite a few of your stories, and some of them I've been through some of the challenges with you, so they were extra special. But I thought we could do a little lighthearted one, and I really enjoyed the one about online dating.
Oh, dating online. Oh my God, or OMG.
OMG, I think that was the
Yes.
title. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, I had to go back and re-listen to that, and because I wanted to remember what experience I shared because I've had several. And I remember
Yes.
this one. This was this particular guy from New Jersey. He laid
Hmm.
me out because I would not send him a picture of myself. This dude went off on me. And then he got mad because I was laughing and I couldn't do anything but laugh because I'm like, dude, you're going off on me over a picture and I've only known you, what, 3 days? So tell us some of your experience about being online or dating online.
I think now, it's like I like to say, women of a particular age, online dating was fairly new to us. Now it's a kind of everyday thing, and if you talk to a lot of younger folks, they do it all the time. So my experience with online dating, it was a little nervous, nerve-wracking. I have to say, you have to be a person that has pretty good self-esteem to try
Mm,
some online dating.
yes.
But it's gosh, I have so many different experiences online dating. I can tell you stories of being stood up. I'm there in my lovely outfit with my makeup impeccable, and homeboy didn't show up and stopped
What?
taking calls, as they say now, ghost
Ghosting?
me,
What?
ghosted me. I can think of really, like I said, a really good streak where I had like 3 intros in a week. And I remember thinking, oh, this will be good. I can do some scientific studies on how they all kind of turn out. Um, I've had some experiences where I think one of the funnier ones is I was on yeah, it's a blind date, met this gentleman, and he was pretty boring. And about halfway through I think we had appetizers, he said, I know I'm boring. I was like, oh, yeah,
Oh no.
you are. So, needless to say, I didn't go out with him again. But of course, there's always been that one you felt got away. if he never called me. We really hit it off, and he didn't call me again. But I've really had some very positive experiences with online dating in terms of romantic relationships. Some didn't work. Some still hang around. We have I've developed some friendships from some of the online gentlemen that I've met across from all over. One thing I like about online dating is it opens an opportunity for you to meet particularly gentlemen or folks that you wouldn't normally meet every day.
Oh,
And
that's
I was
good.
always fascinated about how I could meet really nice men that lived in my neighborhood or were close by. They weren't always across state lines. So it's those folks that your paths would never cross that you would get to meet that I really enjoyed that part of online dating.
Well, do you find it hard when you meet somebody that doesn't live in your state? Do you find that more difficult, or is it easier? How do you feel about dating or meeting someone online that's not in the same state as you?
Um, because I have met gentlemen cross state lines, and when we find out that there's a connection, we've been able to connect. Some of them
Okay.
have traveled, some to my area where I have visited with me. I've traveled to their areas, and we've done also kind of neutral
Okay.
places where we met halfway. I've done that before and been stood up too. That was
Oh,
interesting. But
wow.
it's it's kind of a give and take. It's like anything else. I think that friendship or something that's to be nurtured, if it's valuable enough to
Okay.
you, you will nurture it regardless of where the person is and the distance.
Okay. Do you think that women are more more people subsect how can I say it? Do you think women are do you think there are more women that go on online dating than men, or do you think it's about the same?
That's kind of difficult. I think it depends on what age bracket you're
Okay,
talking
yeah.
about.
I think that's
And I think it kind of varies a little bit as of course as you get older. They say the pool of gentlemen gets smaller.
okay.
And I don't necessarily believe that. I just think they approach life a little different than they may have done otherwise. And I think you have to kind of statistics, look at the numbers to really see that. I think it's really hard to say if more men or women, do the online dating.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. So, when I first started online dating, I didn't try Facebook, I didn't try Instagram and all the others. I tried the websites. They have all those different websites out, and I
Hmm.
tried that, and uh, I have not had very good um it just hasn't worked for me. Now, I will say, whenever I, put my profile out and go out and do all of that, I get a whole lot of interest. But when I
Hmm.
go in to try to, make something happen, it just falls apart. And I don't know what it is. Maybe, I'm not a professional. I don't know. I don't know what it is. However, when I tried on Instagram,
Hmm.
that was very different from me from the other ones. I found like Instagram and Facebook and those, they were different. I had some situations where I found out that the person that was supposedly I'm talking to was not. I remember one particular one. We had talked for like days. We kept texting each other back and forth for days. And then I looked at something on TV that gave you some hints about, I don't know if it's catfishing. I was
Hmm.
catfished. That's the word I was looking for, the word catfish. And they were telling you that they never want to talk to you they never want to
Hmm.
talk to you on the phone. They only want to text with you. They just different things. And I thought about this guy and I was like, oh, I'm being catfished. And
Hmm.
then the thing that sealed it for me was when he did try to call me, but of course something was wrong with the phone. He couldn't hear me, I couldn't hear him, all that
Hmm.
craziness. But then the thing that sealed it for me was all of a sudden on Instagram, they pulled him off.
Mm.
And I'm like, they pulled you off? Why
Mhm.
did they pull you off? How come you can't get back in? I was like, I've been catfished. I've been wasting my time. However, I will say this. I learned what I like and what I liked and what I didn't like. I also
Mhm.
learned is to ask for what you want. The
Yes.
only reason him and I talked on the phone because I told him that I couldn't constantly keep texting. I'm a person that I want to hear his voice and whatever, whatever. He gave
Mhm.
in, but then of course he had issues. So I learned ask what you want when you want to. And if they can't give it to you, maybe they're not the one for you. So me
Yes.
saying all of mine, have you had experiences? Which one do you think you had the best experience? Is if that's a good question to ask, meaning, versus the sites or like Instagram and I think Facebook
Um,
has one.
I found personally the sites where I had to invest money
Okay.
in
Okay.
tend to have a more, if I can say, genuine crop of gentlemen than some of the ones that were free. And this is again my personal experiences. I've had friends that have had the opposite. They found
Oh,
gentlemen, husbands and boyfriends on some of the freer services. So with me, it's always been that. I also found out that um, the dating sites that took longer with your profile, where you spent a lot of time responding
okay.
to questions, they tended to have a smaller pool of gentlemen, but they were much more compatible in terms of with me than some of the other sites. And I think they use different what they say logarithms to
Or
kind of match you
algorithm.
up, or
Yeah.
algorithms to kind of match you up. So I've that's been my experience. If you put out some money, then you tend to have a better crop of men, if I could say, more matchable. And if you take a little bit longer to do your profile with some of the sites, it tend to have a better pool of compatibility. Mhm.
Okay. Now, would you please give some advice to someone? Let's say one of my listeners have never tried online dating before, and this particular person wants to go on and wants to be as successful as she can or he can.
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
advice would you tell them from at the very beginning when they are first getting started? What is some of the advice that you
Mm.
would give them as far as maybe their profile pictures, anything like that?
Not to take it personal. You got to have some tough
Okay,
skin to do
that's a
some
good
online
one.
dating.
That's a good one.
I would also say give yourself some time, maybe 90 days or three
Oh,
months to kind of make sure that you, I don't want to say exacerbated, but you've had enough opportunity for you to decide, and also for the gentleman to see your profile. Be as honest as possible
okay.
when you're filling out your profile. Sometimes we tend to, like I say, present a representative of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So be as
Yeah.
honest as possible about the height, the weight, use current pictures.
Yes,
We've
I
all been
agree.
to that. It's like, oh my goodness, who was that?
Yeah.
And because men tend to be visual, do a full length picture of yourself. And
Really?
yes, it'll save a lot of problems.
Are
Mhm.
you serious? A full length?
Yep.
I
I
have
would do it.
never done that.
I would do a full length and then headshots. And to me, it's being honest about it. And if
Mm.
not, they're going to ask you, can you send me a picture of your and also include pictures of you doing things you like. Don't include a lot of pictures. I've had some profiles of like 20 and 30 pictures. I said he must not have anything else to do but upload pictures. So I like to use a professional headshot, a picture of me doing something fun, and I try to put a full length, full body picture. And if you're not comfortable with that, just be prepared to send it once you start talking to
Well, that's good. I'm glad you said that about the pictures because
them.
that was one of my questions at the end on this
Hmm.
particular episode. At the very end, of course, I asked questions, and one of the questions was, do do you have a problem sending your picture to someone you just met online? And the reason why I asked that question was because of the experience I had with this
Hmm.
particular guy going off after 3 days. Now, My reason for not wanting to send him a picture is because I had pictures online, and I felt like he had several people that he was talking to, which that was his prerogative. I mean, we had just met. But the way he got so upset with me and literally cussed me out because of it was like, what? And I thought, and I asked him, and maybe I should have asked him this, but then again, I had a right to ask because I wanted to know. I asked him, I said, do you want me to send a picture of you so that you'll know which woman you're talking to? You know, so my picture will come up and you'll know who you told, you know, my picture come up. Okay, I told her this, this, and this to keep your women in line. And he got mad about that. He got really upset about that. Maybe I should have said that, but I did, you know, hey, it was. But do you have a picture? And the reason, I guess, because the pictures are online.
In this day, there would have been a time where I might have felt uncomfortable.
Okay.
But in this day and time, you can be Googled. Google Miss V the storyteller,
yeah.
and your pictures will pop up. I had a high school friend that found me. She said, I saw your picture on the website of the university where you work. I was like, wow.
Oh,
But
Lord.
I went and Googled myself, and sure enough, that's what, you know, popped up. Even more so because, you know, I've had publications and things that are electronically presented. But sure enough, there was a picture of me that popped up. So in this day and age of social media, I'm not as hesitant to send the pictures as I would have been several years ago, because it's such easy access to my images and things. If you have a website, if you're on Facebook, any of those, you can be pretty much Googled. So no, I don't feel
Okay.
uncomfortable with that. And to what you were saying about him getting his women straight, that's another thing you got to remember when you're online dating. You're looking at more than one profile.
And so are
So
they.
your suitors are also looking for more than one profile. So you really can't be upset if they're dating and going out with other folks, because that's the whole point of being on there, to meet people. So as women, sometimes we have to remember that you might be doing one at a time, but you can't be upset if the suitors aren't doing one at a time, because you are on a dating site to meet people.
Well, you know what, Katrina, I am so glad that you picked this story because I have learned some things. And I think maybe the reason why I wasn't so successful is because some of the things I was taking personal, because I am a one at a time person, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and and apparently, you know, that's not the thing. But now that I have, you know, did it a little bit more, I
Mm-hmm.
realized that. And you are so right when you said that they're not the only ones looking at other people and trying to make a connection. You are doing the same if you're
Mm-hmm.
honest with yourself, because every day you go up there and you're looking and trying to find the same
Yes.
person. And also I did like what you said about being honest. I think
Mm-hmm.
that is so key. I think that's why some people get catfished, and some
Mm-hmm.
people, you know, things happen to them. And I think because they don't ask the right questions, you know.
Right.
And like I said, I've learned that I need to ask for what I want. I
Mm-hmm.
want to ask questions. And if you can't answer the questions, you know, well, you know, why can't you answer that question for me if we're trying to get to know each other?
Right.
Well, Katrina, you know what? Again, I am so grateful that you chose this story because
Mm-hmm.
I've learned some things. And like both of us, we share about, you know, our online
Mm-hmm.
experience and everything, especially the one time I think I called you and you were telling me, I think you and I had the same guy on Instagram. And when we were talking, we realized that it was probably the same guy.
The same one. Talk about catfish. Yeah.
Yes, it was the same guy. It's the craziest thing. Well, thank you again, Katrina, for being here. Now,
Mhm.
I would love for my listeners to know what you like, your website, your social media handles. Do you have products? Let us know where we can reach you, you know, especially because you're a speech pathologist. If there's someone out there that has questions, maybe questions, they can contact you, you know, or maybe you can be a resource for them to help them to get the help that they need.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing, I know you are also an entrepreneur, you have your
Mm-hmm.
own business. So tell us about that, because I'm sure when anyone hears and sees this, they're going to want to know, who is Dr. Katrina Miller?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. My website is katrinaemiller.com. And although I am a speech language pathologist by profession, and although I help people with communication disorders, and kind of hope you don't really have to see me, but I also do educational things in terms of speech and organizations that are looking for a variety of communication. I call myself a communication empowerment company.
Oh, I
So
like
anything
that.
that you need communication, I'm a part of that. And remember, it's communication in terms of human communication, not the technical communication
Yes,
as some
yes.
people may think. So feel free to browse my website. Also, my Instagram is Dr. K Miller 2018, and it's a combination of just kind of what's going on in my life, kind of thing. I am just completed volume 2 of Joy.
Yes.
Living in the Key of Joy. I don't know if
Yes. And I
folks
have
can't
the
see it.
first one here because her
Hmm.
and we are co-authors on the first
Yes,
one, and they just released the second one. So
the
we are
second
so excited
volume.
about that.
Yep, that can
Yes.
be found on Amazon, or you can contact one of us and we'll be happy to get a copy to you. I'm doing a variety of things. I've got workshops planned. I do some things with teens, which is a really popular thing I did was Talk the Runway,
Oh,
which we
okay.
did with a group of I call the Grits Girls. I have a fellow entrepreneur that has a organization of girls rocking it in the South, and it's her
Really?
teen
Yes.
mentoring
I
program.
love
So
that.
we did a real fun workshop called Talk the Runway, and that's exactly what we did. We ended up talking the runway and ended up walking the runway like models do, and it was a lot of fun
I bet it was.
doing
I
that
would have been
activity.
out there popping right
And
along with it. Yes.
we had our outfits and our first stalls, and it was really good. And it was just talking about the power of communication and appropriate communication. So I do workshops, a variety of those. I've done workshops with um, what's it, folks in transition, in terms of they are either have been formerly incarcerated or looking for jobs, and we've talked about appropriate communication style for that job interview and how to
Yes.
communicate once you're got through the door, kinds of things to look for. So I've worked with some nonprofits in terms of that. I've done some things with state of North Carolina to prep, and some companies to train their managers
Okay.
in terms of effective communication skills, because often as leaders, we got really good leadership skills, but that communication still kind of lacks. So I've done those kind of workshops. So those things are kind of things I've done. I've done things with preteens. I've done a couple of things with gentlemen in terms of part of that etiquette discussion where
Yes.
they're
That is so
um,
key.
out in public and
Hmm.
kind of things when sometimes you're not sure about what to say and how to say it. We've done some of those things. I've worked with, of course, church groups in terms
Yeah.
of communication skills. So you'd be surprised at the things we can do and ways to help. So if it's something that your organization is interested in or a component that you feel might be missing, just reach out to me via um, Instagram or through my website, and we can hopefully connect and get some things planned and some mutual things working for you. Mhm.
Now you see why I have Dr. Katrina Miller as my guest, because I told you she is just amazing. As a
Thank you.
friend, as a businesswoman, she is just amazing. I will also make sure I have everything inside the link and all that. So if you don't
That's
remember
great.
it, if you just look down in the description, it's gonna. I'll make sure I have everything there.
Mhm.
With that said, thank you so much, Dr. Miller, for being here. And here we go. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I pray that this episode will make you think about your memories and how they impacted your life. If you like what you hear, please follow me, Miss V the Storyteller, at Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Or you can email me at VALISONELLIOT@gmail.com. And thanks for listening, friends. Bye.
Bye-bye.